Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Shed Organics Show. Today, we have a really fun episode. We are talking to Yana from Rare Dragonfruit, and these guys are up in Agnes Water. I call it North Queensland, but as you'll find out, it's not really North Queensland, but it's north of me, and that's enough for me. So these guys have a dragon fruit farm. They have over 150 different varieties of dragon fruit growing on their farm, and I think you'll agree with me in knowing that dragon fruits are one of these weird and wonderful fruits that they've got such vibrant color, such incredible taste, and they're also such a cool thing to grow. They kind of look really fun, and everybody loves a cactus. So it's just this really unique fruit, and having such rare varieties and the work that they've done to track down these varieties and grow them and provide them for us, I just had to highlight them. And as you would have heard from last week, I had the wonderful Key Landscapes guys next to me at the Queensland Garden Show. But on the other side of me was the Rare Dragon Fruit family. And I was stoked to be in between both of them and just to get to know these guys over the last couple of garden shows has been super fun. So without further ado, we're going to be jumping into all things dragon fruit today, how to grow them, how to support them, all the trials and tribulations of growing dragon fruit, and what you might need to know. So strap in if you're a dragon fruit fan. This one's going to be very sweet and delicious. So without further ado, here is Yana from Rare Dragon Fruit. With something like dragon fruit, like what is the motivation to start going down the dragon fruit road? There's so many things that you could have picked, and like I'm not, throwing any
Yeah.
shade on dragon fruit because I think it's a
No.
blooming awesome fruit, but why the choice? Yeah, why dragon fruit?
The just purely because they're not like a mango or a fruit where you get a mass amount of fruit
Yeah,
at once.
yeah,
We can get fruit over a season, like 6 months. We can have buds, flowers, and fruit developing and eating fruit all at one time. So
that's
there's
cool.
like this nice succession. So you've always kind of got something that week.
Yeah.
I mean, not obviously not over winter, but yeah, it's just not a massive fruit all at once. You're not dealing with oranges and oranges and oranges. There's enough to maintain us. And for a backyarder, that's perfect.
Mm, it is.
Like
Is
you're
that
getting a good, like you're getting kilos of fruit over a 3 to 6 month period, depending where you're located.
mm.
So, yeah.
And was that the motivation initially just because you liked eating it and you're like, I just want to, let's just get into it? Or how did it eventuate into a business?
Absolutely purely flute.
You're right.
Because so I can't throw anything out. Hover parenting, is that dog really annoying?
I
Can you
can't hear
hear
the
her
dog.
now?
No, 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 no.
Oh, good, because she really annoys me
No,
all
well,
the time.
okay.
So
That's what
that's
that's
okay.
what our pets are there for sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, this is like a third child. It's the worst child here. Um, so I can't throw things out. I was trimming back the mulberry tree, did a heap of cuttings, like, all right, I've got to sell these now.
Yeah,
Like, I can't have them here. So then I started selling on Gumtree,
yeah.
eBay, and then it just developed from there. And then I was doing a range of permaculture plants.
Okay.
Yeah, and natives and all this stuff and sourcing everything and had this huge range because we lived in town, so I
Yeah.
could source from different places. But then dragon fruit sort of just stuck with me as like, this is a really cool crop and wow, there's so much more variety and it's like a niche kind
Mm.
of thing as well. So when we lived on a 600 square meter house block, I had about 60 varieties growing
Whoa.
amongst all these different coconut trees, jackfruit, like just people would walk out into the backyard and not know what to do because I mean the kids' cubby house was covered in choco and it was we had in that space a bunch of bananas almost for each month ripening. Like we
Oh,
sort of
wow.
just got it working perfectly. So it's tended now to focus on dragon fruit now that we're on a farm.
Hmm.
But prior to that, we did a lot of permaculture based stuff. And for us here, they're a better crop to grow because Agnes can be really, really wet or really, really dry.
Yeah, let's talk about that then.
Yep.
Where you are, Agnes Water. For those who are not familiar, and I've got a couple of listeners like in the US and things like this,
Yeah.
can you describe the type of climate? It's North Queensland, so it's similar
Oh, we're
tropical
like,
climate, but what do you call
yeah,
it?
we're sort of middle of North Queensland. Like we're not quite north, and we're not
Okay.
quite, yeah, we're 6 hours from Brisbane.
Yeah.
And I'm still about, I think, what is it, 17 hours from Brisbane to Cairns. So we're still about 12 hours from Cairns.
Right. Yes. Okay.
So we're at the start of the Great Barrier Reef. We're the last spot with surf. That's why we live here because of Mick liking surfing. Um, and it's as far north as we could go. So we're an hour from Bundaberg, which is really interesting because that's a major growing food bowl.
Yes.
And then we're an hour south of Gladstone, which is a major mining town. So we're in this weird mix. But Agnes has got such bad soil that no one's actually really grown here before, a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, right. Okay.
But we see that as a positive
Okay. To pave the
because
way.
it's not contaminated.
Yeah, true.
It's virgin, like it's had forest, it's got really bad clay soil, but what we add in is our control. Yeah, otherwise it was just dirt.
Yeah.
So instead of like if you look at other places like Cairns and other areas in Isvale where they're doing aerial spraying of banana crops and things, I've visited a few farms only a few months ago and they didn't even have insects to pollinate their dragon fruit because of the overspray from the bananas being
I
aerial
bet.
sprayed.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, and then prior to that, they were probably cane farm and things like that. So we haven't had generations of abuse of our land. We're just regeneratively farming it now. We're improving the soil. We had no worms when we moved in, and now
Right.
we have worms.
Wonderful. I know
Yeah,
that you guys are following very similar growing styles to those that I promote as well, and we share
yeah,
that similar vision, and hopefully we're trying to encourage more and more people to do that as well.
yeah,
I loved that point about thinking about North Queensland. You often think about mangoes, bananas, cane, sugar cane, and things
yeah.
like this. It's a big part of the world for where this sort of stuff comes from. And if you've ever been up there, for people that are listening, there are fields and fields and rows of bananas and sugar cane and all of this. And if there is aerial
Acres.
spraying, acres, yeah, hectares, and
Yeah.
if we're spraying, then it's literally contaminating majority of the land or the runoff, all of this type of thing. Um,
Like the roof of your house will go white.
really,
And if
I
you're
haven't heard
on
that.
tank water, like when you get talking to people, it's a spin out. And like we were driving through and I was Googling like how many bananas do we consume a day? It's like, okay, so we need to do this because if you're not growing a banana crop, you're eating one of those 5 million bananas that are consumed in Australia a day.
Five
And that's
million
how
a
it,
day.
yeah, so
Wow.
that's you can see we need that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So if you've got a backyard and you plant a banana tree and you're producing 50 to 100 bananas, we're all reducing that impact. It's all those small things.
That's such an
So,
important point.
yeah,
I hadn't really thought about well, I mean, I understand the sheer volume of fruit that is required, but 5 million a day is quite
yeah.
insane. And bananas aren't fruiting every 5 seconds to enough to
No,
keep up
it's
with that.
18 months to get a bunch.
Exactly. So
So,
we're
yeah.
having to be really, really patient. Maybe we could encourage people to turn to dragon fruits instead of buying their bananas. Um, tell me about dragon fruits growing up there then. So how do you find growing it? It's a tropical fruit for the most part, is it? Or
Yeah, so tropical to subtropical, weirdly enough, so they respond on daylight hours.
cool.
So I was up North Queensland about this time of year a few years ago, and New South Wales, I was getting fruit first, and I thought I'd go to, it's mango season, you go to Darwin, you're going to get the first mangoes. I'm like, I'm
Yes.
going to the Daintree, I'm going to get the first dragon fruit. This is going to be awesome. But it wasn't that. The southern states were getting flowers first.
All right. Why?
Purely, I think, because the extreme changes in temperature.
Okay.
Where North Queensland, it's a gradual, like
It
daylight hours
is.
slowly increase. Where if you're in a southern state, you get more of like the lights are on. at 6 now. It's not 7 or 8. So yeah.
True. There's a bigger swing, I guess, in daylight hours, isn't there? Like up in
And it,
Queensland, it's especially with the daylight saving, we've only got a
yeah.
movement between, say, so 9, 10 hours of daylight up to sort of 13, and that's not a
Yes.
huge swing as you might see somewhere like in the UK where they have a 17 to 6 hour swing, which is crazy. Um,
Yeah.
it's very consistent, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So I think that shock of more of a sudden warmth increase and a sudden daylight hour makes a huge difference.
Yeah, okay.
So,
So
yeah.
then you started selling these cuttings of the dragon fruit and you're starting
Yep.
to cultivate your own, learn how to grow them
Yep.
effectively, and then share that with other people. What led into the vast amount of varieties of dragon fruits that you have, and then the focus on rare varieties?
It's just always you can always do better, I think. So some of the varieties people have in their backyard, for instance, are self-sterile. So
Right, yeah.
trying to get that variety that ticks all the boxes. It's the right size, it's got the right skin thickness so it can last. It's disease resistant, self-fertile. So I think it's almost chasing a little bit of a holy grail in some
Yeah.
respect because it's that flavor that ticks everyone's boxes as well.
Yeah.
Because there are so many different flavors.
That's
So
that's somewhat like confusing to me
yeah,
because in the same, well, I haven't tasted all these varieties, so you'll have to help me
yeah,
with a little bit of the tasting side of it, the
yeah,
experience itself. But say, for example, a banana, like we were talking about before, there are quite a few different varieties of banana. But
yeah,
if you gave me a blind taste test of all these bananas, I'm not sure how well I would do telling the difference apart, especially if it was like mashed or something. I would do a little bit,
yeah.
but and
See, even bananas, I've got like 21 different varieties.
can
So
you
I
tell the
could even
difference?
change your mind on that.
Could really? Do you reckon you could taste the difference if you like between? I know
Definitely.
there's definitely
Yeah.
some that are quite obvious and like say for
It's
example a sweeter variety or a whatever, but
yeah,
it also depends on how they're grown and the love
that's
and care
it.
that's put into it, their
But
ripeness.
can be the texture of the banana. Do you know what I mean? Like the starch
Yes.
level and things like that. So even with your dragon fruit, you've got the textural side of things where some you get like a crunchy seed. And then
Yeah.
some you're like, I didn't even notice that seed. So you've got like the kiwi fruit kind of seed, or some
Yeah.
even have like a bit of you even get a taste of the seed where it's like a bit sesame or nutty.
Wow.
So that's the difference as well. And then you've got some that are really firm flesh, and then some are more like jelly. So yeah, and we use I brought this in bricks measurer.
Oh, cool.
So that measures the sugar content. So that's
Yeah.
just straight away sort of levels out, okay, 13, it's pretty acidy, it doesn't have much sugar in it. And then we've got ones that are 23 where it's like, wow, that's a lolly. So straight away,
Wow.
it's a visual
That's clever.
as well of
Where'd you
what
get that
they,
little machine? That one's cool. I've only well, hang on. I've got one in its case here, but the refractometer
yeah.
version. Um, where did you get
Oh, the
that one?
little,
Yeah, this
we
one's
sell them
just
on
the
our
one on the side.
website.
Oh, well, there
So
you go.
yeah,
Everybody should check
yeah.
out the link in the description, including myself.
Because
So
yeah, the little eye ones are really hard to use to
they
try and
are.
get that level right. But those ones are awesome because you just get the digital
That's right. And
printout.
I've heard, well, I do like about this one, I don't know whether you can do it on your particular one, is that it helps measure the calcium content in it as well by t the difference
Yeah,
between I think it's calcium. The difference between the line. So if you get a clear straight line,
yeah,
then you know that you're probably calcium deficient. But if it's nice and hazy between the two sections, like a
yeah,
sort of gradual movement, then you know that your calcium levels are fine. But
yeah. Cool.
that's just a side thing that you can use that for. But you're right. Testing the bricks levels and finding out the sugar content helps you to understand which ones are sort of the more desirable in terms of maybe sweetness or if that's what they're after. Um, can you tell me about how there came to be so many of these varieties is it something that they like with other things with genetics? You might have an open pollinated variety that then it turns out to be slightly different, and you go, "Oh, I like that one. Let's try and keep cuttings of that," and then it gets rebreeded with something else, and it sort of
Yeah.
narrows down to these different versions. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So every seed in your dragon fruit has the potential to be a different variety.
A different variety.
So
What?
essentially, because it's like brothers and
Oh,
sisters.
like a
So
different expression of the same variety.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. So it will be a different type. It may carry white traits, self-fertile, some protective skin layers, thorn characteristics, that may all change. So
Really?
that's where it's been hybridized by growing out seeds.
I had no idea that one I would, like you have an apple, a red delicious. Let's go for
Yeah.
with that. You plant all those apple seeds, you're going to get very similar red delicious apples coming out of it.
Yeah.
Why do dragon fruits then throw out so much variety in their offspring? Do you know, or is it like why? How
Well,
do we know this?
because when a lot of the hybridizers grow them out, they'll do like S1 sugar dragon, for example, and then
Right.
they'll do S2, S3, or G1, G2,
Yeah.
and then that's how you can see the differences and get the flavor from keeping a handful of those seeds, growing them out to then see what their characteristics are like. One lady a few years ago at the garden show got a store-bought one, grew out the seeds, and got one of each color. And she said they all tasted like crap after growing them out for 5 years. So that's
Yeah.
another thing. That's why we do cuttings because they've already been hybridized, they've already been tested.
Hmm.
We know they're good. I do dabble in seedlings
Yeah.
just for the fun of it because I'm like, oh, that was a good fruit. Wonder what that's like. But when they do the hybridizing, they'll bag the flowers and only use particular pollens. So,
Mm.
for example, that lady who got all different flavors, that could have been pollinated with a range of different pollens as well.
Okay.
So different varieties. So for instance, for
Mm.
when we pollinate, we'll bag our flowers if it's going to rain,
Yeah.
and also the bees steal all of our pollen. Mick will go around in the morning with a little pollen vacuum,
Yeah.
vacuum all the pollen off, and then go back and apply it. So all of our flowers are getting this mixed bag of um, pollens, where it could be 50 different pollens pollinating one flower.
Does that then change the fruit because it's being cross-pollinated?
It doesn't change the flavor, it does change the size.
Right.
So,
Okay.
in particular, for like Isis Golds, like this big commercial yellow,
Yeah.
and if you want to get it to 1.5 kilos, you cross pollinate it with a commercial white.
So you're
And that's,
basically you're getting two of the bigger, well, you're crossing the two big parts of the gene and hoping that they coincide.
yeah, yeah. And that's what commercial farmers like to do with that particular fruit because it's more cost effective for them because they might need 8 fruit per box instead of 40 small duck egg size fruit.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
totally. And you can breed desirable traits, presumably
true.
like the disease resistant size of the fruit,
Yeah,
and then obviously taste and flavor and all this kind of thing. Um,
yeah, yeah,
I've I've heard similar things in I guess like in terms of picking flavors or traits or things like this. You hear it in fruit and vegetable production, more so fruit, I would say. But then the variety of differences that you can get from the offspring is kind of blowing my mind. I've heard something similar to this in the cannabis world where you can kind of they've
yeah,
got certain different whatever it is, the expressions of it, and it comes out as a
yeah,
different terpene or something, a different flavor. Um,
yeah,
this variety in the seeds, like if I had a store-bought dragon fruit and I planted every single one of those seeds, that one of them might come up a different color or a different size or have thorns and
yeah,
self-pollinating. They seem like the basic traits that wouldn't change in a like if I planted the seeds of virtually most other things, yes, you're going to get a bit of varied expression in those things where some might be bigger, some might be more disease resistant, faster growers, whatever. But they're all
yeah,
within this same kind of wheelhouse of being the same, whether they are
Yeah, but
self-pollinators or not. But that variety is blowing my mind with the dragon fruit. I didn't realize it did. You could just have a different color completely and flavor.
yeah, definitely. And even well, even you think it might be just it might only be one in that one in 100 seeds that does that weird variation
I see.
as
Yeah.
well, or throw out a variegated branch or something like that. So I've got even varieties with red variegations and yellow variegations. I've got a
Cool.
papaya tree that I've grown from seed that's got variegated leaves.
Really? Wow.
So you know
And
how it's like it might be just one in that 100 or one in that 300 seeds that are inside that fruit that produces that one
yeah.
different thing. You might have triplets, but one looks different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Totally.
And one of the hardest things is I looked at doing genetic testing with them
Yeah. Okay.
to really nail what's what in Australia because a lot of things have been smuggled in by seed and things from people overseas. And we could spend $80,000 on genetic testing and end up with two fruit that look completely different, still being genetically so similar you can't tell the difference. So that's
Whoa.
where we sort of went, nah, it's not worth
Yeah.
that. Oh, well, we're
That
looking for a grant with a university, so you know how even that it's like, yeah, it's
that's big.
they're not
Yeah.
gonna, yeah, I think we'll just
That's
let
cool.
that one go.
Yeah. So are you tell me about the varieties themselves that you've come across and that you now sell and grow and blah blah blah. Where
Yeah.
are they ones that you've cultivated yourself? Have you hunted them down from different places?
I do travel a lot to rare fruit growers' places and I
Cool.
knock on people's doors and things like that and have managed to source them that way. There's Facebook pages of trading and things like that. I've traced them back to where some of these first varieties were smuggled in and how they were smuggled in and things like that,
Cool.
as well. So it's kind of been a bit of fun detective work tracing the history
Yeah.
of them. For instance, I was up North Queensland getting a permaculture tour of someone's house, garden, and their auntie was a rare fruit importer for North Queensland DPI back in the 70s, and I got some of
Wow.
her varieties.
Oh,
So
cool.
it really is, yeah, just sort of. And then at the same trip, I was um, visiting a farm who had a Filipino start it all, and she had her own variety, and that was meant to be the sweetest one a guy up on the Daintree had ever tasted. So it is a little bit of fun, and I do collect from beside the road and weird places
Yeah. Just
as
in
well. If
case,
it's
you never
growing,
know.
you don't know, like, was that an old heritage farm that was there, or was that dropped by a bird? Was it seed grown and like it's surviving really well? What characteristics is it going to have? So that's also part of it. And then, yeah, we sort of name it after that. Like, I've got one Raglan Tavern because it was outside a tavern on the way to Rockhampton. So just to see how things grow. But a lot of the time, those ones are really ordinary white varieties that just
Yeah.
taste like anything you'd buy from a shop,
Yeah, okay. They're
basically. And
more so
so,
hardy versions that have figured out how to grow in whatever area you
yeah.
found. Mm.
And just don't have the flavor or, yeah,
Yeah,
that
okay.
kind of
And
thing. So,
are these all varieties that you find or have found here in Australia? And what part of the world are dragon fruits originally from and like that sort of thing? Where are they come
South
from?
America. So, South
Okay.
America, and then they made their way over to Asia, and then that's where they've really taken off. So, a lot of people think they're Asian,
Yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
South America. Okay. So yeah,
yeah,
obviously again, tropical fruit, so
yeah.
tropical areas. Um
Yeah.
and
And like a rainforest cactus, you've got to think that get your mind away from normal cactus.
mm,
So rainforest cactus, it's a vine, it's designed to climb to that top of that canopy and take over. So when you see dragon fruit post, if you think of it like that, it's like a mini rainforest we're creating. It's going to the top and then branching over from there so it can't turn into that canopy
yeah, I
covering vine or type of, you can relate it to other vines you see in a rainforest environment.
it's not a yeah, it's definitely not that it's acting in a similar way to a cactus. Um
Yeah.
well it is in some regards, but obviously not in that regard. And the idea about the post and them sort of hanging over. I've made the mistake because I saw on my travels, I saw a tree, I think it was a pine tree actually, from memory, that had been completely taken over by dragon fruit. And
Yeah.
the entire pine was just, it would have been a multi-story pine tree, huge, and the whole thing was swamped. You could barely see this pine tree. And I was just thought this was the best. I thought it was the bee's knees. So when I
Yeah.
had some cuttings of dragon fruit, I threw them all at the base of the tree.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting a while now, a couple of years, for it to work its way up the street. It worked up one of the branches all the way up the side, and it was kind of hanging down. And then we got a huge gust of wind, and that whole branch snapped and
Oh,
lost all of it. But
yeah.
it's been in there 3 years now, and I've not seen a single flower on it. Now,
Yeah.
the myth that I was, well, not myth, I don't know. The story I was told is that the dragon fruit has to go and hang down for it to send the signal to start flowering and producing fruit. Is that true?
Yeah, they sometimes like you get an occasional flower fruit as it's growing up.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's hanging over and you'll get yeah, lots of fruit and flowers hanging over.
Yeah, because I
So,
haven't got that yet, and it's
yeah.
somewhat taken. It is hanging over in places, but I'm thinking that, we might potentially have some in
It's
the
also
next
com
season.
it's also competing for food with that tree
It
as
is.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they are a heavy feeder,
Yeah.
it's got that extra competition. So,
Do you think that might have contributed to the fact that the tree wasn't doing so well and was snapped in the wind?
maybe,
Do they
yeah,
tend to
they love.
take if they're from a host? So in the natural environment, when they're climbing trees to get up into the canopy and things like this, I presume they don't want to consume or damage the host that they're on because that's what they're using to get up to that canopy.
But then they love that rotting bark
Oh, so
as
maybe
an
that,
aerial roots and things as well. So that's kind of like it's a hard one. It's like as it's growing, if it's newly establishing and it doesn't have that root, do you know what I mean? The root base to
yes,
support it, it's going, and it's already that your tree's already taking food in, you're not fertilizing it and mulching it and doing all the right things, then yeah, and it's not
it's
hanging over. Do you know what I mean? And then also sun, like, is it in full sun or does it get full shade? Because it's got back to that daylight hours. We had one of our first ones, common red, we had growing on a triangle palm.
okay.
And so the sun trapped this way, where the
Right.
shade was, got no fruit, even though it was
Ah,
growing beautifully. And this side with all the sun got loads of fruit. But that side might get one each season.
that's really
So
interesting. Now that I think about it, if I'm looking at the tree, the branch that it chose to go up is the one that faces the sun the most.
yeah.
And now
So it's
that's gone.
reaching out for the sun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool to think about what it wants and what it needs, and then seeing it on that journey and kind of snapshotting it over time.
Yeah,
That's
and it
that.
knows what it needs. It can find it itself. And then once you do get it, say if you did get it established up that tree, and it could be a 20-meter tree, and you cut it off around the base, it becomes a complete epiphyte
So
because it's got that massive aerial roots that it can support itself then from there.
off the host, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's amazing. It really, really is
yep,
cool. And you then obviously help people to grow dragon fruit properly,
yep.
rather than the way that I've just done it. But so if you were to help somebody set up a dragon fruit trellis and things like this, I know you've shared with me
Yep.
some cool DIY versions, and you're starting to share more of those, and in some of the like the workshops and things that you do,
Yeah.
and all of this. Can you talk to me about a couple of things that we need to be considerate of with dragon fruit trellis?
So longevity, that's the biggest thing, and weight.
Okay.
So if you think of how heavy that plant is, because it's always full of water.
Mm,
So your top of your dragon fruit trellis may, in 5 years' time, weigh 2 to 300 kilos, or if not more.
whoa.
If you don't want a manicured head on your dragon fruit trellis,
Yeah.
that's what you're realistically looking for. So that little piece of stick or branch you've found that was easy to install at that time? I'm completely at fault of this. I'll
Right.
show you when you come to the farm. Mick goes fishing and I think I can do things myself. And I put in like the crappiest branches down in our forestry rows. I'm like, oh, yep, he's gone. I can do this. I don't need him. And they're all laying on the ground.
Right.
So yeah,
That's
it's definitely I'm yeah, you do it properly to start with. So
mm. Y-
do it
y-
once, do it properly.
Yeah, that's right. Do it properly. And you don't have to buy and build and install fancy ones though, do you? You can kind of
No,
make
you're not
stuff.
going to see it.
Yeah,
There's
well,
no
yeah.
point doing all these beautiful miter joins and all these fancy stuff on top because you want a head of dragon fruit on there. There's you could use an old tire, and at the end of the day, where's the tire? You can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
that's our simple way of doing it at the farm is we put in posts, drilled holes through either side. So you've got two
Yep.
holes that cross over, two pieces of Rio and a tire on top. Done.
Perfect.
Dirty. The tires were recycled from the still mower place. They're happy to
Yep.
give them away because they make more money that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, and it's done and it's sturdy and it's going to last a long time. Plus, all the old posts we've got have got all little holes in them as well. So then you get all the leaf cutter bees and things like that living in them. So they
Cool.
end up being insect hotels at the same
Yeah.
time as being dragon fruit posts.
I've noticed that ants love dragon fruit in terms
Yeah,
of sitting in and around it and like in the gaps in between where it's sort of sitting flush up against the post
yeah.
or whatever. Is this or can it be a problem?
Depends on the ants. So
Right.
we've got some ants that kind of care for them, and we'll
Hmm.
notice the buds some mornings will have tiny droplets when we haven't had dew. And if we go and lick them, they're sweet.
Oh,
So sometimes we'll get the little ants just feeding on that, no dramas. And
yeah.
then sometimes you'll get the annoying ants that'll have a nibble or try and farm scale and do things like that. So, and we've even had when it was really, really dry here, the termites made their way into the dragon fruit plants.
Really?
The same way they'd
Inside them?
make their way into your bathroom because they like moisture.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Whoa.
Mick being a carpenter by trade, I had a few people go, "Oh, that's they don't attack more like living stuff, but it's like they attack moist bathrooms, and they needed moisture from somewhere, so they actually ate lines through growing dragon fruit plants.
Whoa. Isn't that
So
crazy? Um,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. Okay, so then we've got basically you can use recycled stuff. Make sure it's sturdy, it's got some longevity.
yeah.
Is there
If
a
you do
certain
want to do like a really good quality one that's going to last a long time, a concrete post.
okay. Yeah.
But you're looking at sort of more $50 your price goes up, but it's never going to fall over.
Well, that's it. And like,
So,
a $50 investment for years and years of dragon fruit, right? Um,
especially like when cuttings start at 10 to $15,
mm,
and you look at the price of some citrus trees or um, and on that post you can have four different varieties. So
yeah,
it's
that's
like getting your
something I was
fruit
about to.
salad tree. So you can have your yellow fruit that tastes like lemonade. You can have a pink flowering one. You can have a
Yeah.
small sweet one for the kids' lunch boxes. And you're really only spending what, $120 maximum on doing that. So it's still quite an affordable, effective way of gardening and cropping in your backyard.
It is, isn't it? Hey guys, really quickly, jumping in, I just want to remind you if you are not subscribed to this show, that is the number one thing that you can do to show me your support. So if you're finding value from this conversation and you're deeply engaged, I would love you to hit the follow or subscribe button. All right, back to the show. Um, I just was thinking about that. You got me thinking of the fruit salad type thing with the different varieties on the same one.
Yep.
Are you able to graft as well for
Yeah,
different
yeah.
varieties onto one host?
Yeah, they're so easy to graft.
Yeah, and you just sort of
Yeah, so you can
make
just do
sure
a
you
V graft.
clean slice.
Yeah, you just basically where a thorn is, you cut a V into the plant and
Yeah,
you cut a V into the jigsaw puzzle V's, we're
yeah.
talking about. So into the plant that's your rootstock and then into the top. So you essentially can grow more than that
Wow.
with a simple V graft. It's not something I tend to do. I'm messing with it for a book that I'm doing on commercial farms,
Cool.
just all the different algrafts and things like
Yeah.
that. But I don't have the time for doing that when we've just got so much room.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
in a backyard situation, you could obviously do that um, to help you
Yeah,
out.
but if you've also got the space to plant one dragon fruit that has four different varieties off it, presumably you could throw them all in the same pot
Yeah,
or in the ground by that same post, right? And have them all sort of going over the same thing. You can also curate
yeah,
which ones grow, so you're not having one that takes over and one that doesn't.
that's right.
Yeah.
And even the best way, so say you're in your backyard, you've got this awesome one growing up a tree, it's self-sterile and the fruit tastes like crap and you don't want it there. That's the one to graft a good variety onto because you've got the root base if it's been growing there for
Mm,
5 years. So a farm at Yeppoon I've visited, hers blew over in storms and she's like, I don't really like that variety anyway. I'm just going to cut it off,
yeah.
graft onto it because I've got the root base there to get things going and restart it that way because you're speeding up that process.
You are. You're kind of skipping
Yeah.
ahead, aren't you? With all that root
Yeah.
growth. So it's already got the root stock. It's well established and connected in the soil food web, and it can
Yep.
just kickstart and go crazy. Um,
Yeah.
that's really cool. I want to just finish the point on the, I guess, growing them at home and that kind of thing on the trellis. Is there a
Yeah.
specific height or a specific, I guess, yeah, like way of keeping them off the ground so that the when the fruit are coming down, they're not hanging on the ground or conversely too high for you to go and reach, obviously. Um, because they sort of
Yeah.
hang over and they'll just will they keep going and hit the ground, or do you have to keep trimming them back and this type of
Some
thing?
will. Yeah, some will. You'll have to trim them back if it's too low. I
Mm,
don't mind the lower post because you get fruit quicker because it doesn't take as long to get to the top
right. So
of
that
the
yeah,
post.
yeah. Okay.
My ideal height is sort of eye level
Hmm.
because you've got it at eye level and then when it grows over, you're getting probably an extra 30, 50 meters, 50 centimeters height and you can still manage that with reaching.
Hmm.
We've done some that are we've got all different heights at our farm. And the really tall ones are so painful.
I
They
bet.
took twice as long to get to the top to fruit. They're, you need a ladder to pollinate them,
Yeah.
pick the fruit. You're getting spiked. It's just not as much fun as something you can just look at.
Yeah,
So,
totally. So that's more a
yeah,
practical thing for sure. Um,
yeah, they're gonna
and
get chainsawed. Yeah,
yeah, well, exactly. They'll be coming down, and then you'll be replacing them with shorter ones. Can
yeah,
you can you talk about the growing like procedure or practices? So if
yeah.
I'm starting with a wonderful cutting of yours, which I highly encourage everybody to go and check out if they're in the postable regions for you to send out cuttings. I don't know how far and wide you can send them, but um, what do they do with that cutting when it comes home to then, if
Yeah.
they've sorted out their trellis, they've got a cutting, what do you do with your cutting and your trellis?
So, okay, so you've got opening up your box, and you want to. It's already hard, like dried out and calloused in the post.
Hmm.
We express post every Monday. So from there, you can let it callus longer. Some people like doing it for 2 weeks. For me, being time poor, I will stick it in a dry potting mix
Ah, yes, yeah, yeah.
because I'm idiot proofing it. So I don't go a month later and go, oh, wow, that's looking really dry, or I've stuck it in a sunny spot and I should have done that.
Hmm.
Um, so, and just, I won't give it water for maybe 2 weeks. So it's sort of still doing the callousing effect,
Callousing.
but more of an idiot proof way of doing it.
In a slightly more
Um,
natural way, I suppose,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, and I like also using good quality potting mix with it depend if you make your own. I find it really hard to tell people what to do because you might be a composter, have the best sandy soil, be able to just create something from nothing,
Hmm.
or you might have a mushroom farm down the road. So I try and yeah, good quality soil with organic stuff in it,
Yeah.
rainforests, more mycelium the better, all of
Okay.
that kind of stuff. But if you're time poor and you don't have that, a propagating mix from Bunnings. I
Yeah.
I hate pigeonholing things.
Yeah,
and
I know
saying
what
you
you mean.
have to do it this way because if you're North Queensland, more sand will be better.
Yeah,
Perlite, things like that. Where if you're down south and it's drier, you're going to want to add more moisture,
I see what you mean.
more
Yeah.
barks. And do you know, like it's gardening's not pigeonholing, it's what works for you. And I can't stand all the YouTube dragon fruiters who you have to do it this way, where it's like, no, you've got to find your own way and use your intuition
hmm
to do
Yeah,
it
totally. And
as
these
well.
are,
And what works for you sprouting other things as well. So,
yeah, you do need to adapt to your environment and work with what you've got, don't you? And then there are
yeah,
varieties that are better suited to those certain
yeah,
situations.
yeah.
So then you've,
So you've got it in your pot.
yeah, what's next?
So you what you want to do is let it grow so that you've got roots coming
hmm
out the bottom and you've got growth on the top. Then it's ready to go onto your dragon fruit post. So
Sorry,
even
one thing to just interject.
mm,
How important is it to know which end is up?
we put arrows on them and write
Okay,
up.
well there you go. So
Okay, so
you're
if
helpful.
you do plant it the wrong way up, the roots will be coming out the wrong end.
So you will see them start coming out the top, and you go,
Yeah.
"Whoops, I need to flip that."
Or yeah, there's a gentleman who's left us our only one bad Google review and they're all upside down because our arrows are the wrong way. He was lovely and included a photo so we could solve that one straight away.
That's amazing. Yeah, because I've done
But
that.
yeah,
I've done that with cuttings of my cacti, or like different
yeah,
varieties of cacti, and I'll take a big piece of it, and
yeah,
then slice the top. So that's really easy to see because that's like the top of the dome of the cactus.
yeah,
But all of the other pieces, I have to make sure I keep them in upright if they're little
yeah,
sections like this to see, which way is up because I have planted once upside down before and then wondered
yeah,
what's going on. And then you see little like roots trying to poke out the top and you go, whoops, I need to flip that round. So that is a really
yeah,
important consideration. So sorry,
yeah.
I just wanted to double click
That's
on that.
good. Yeah, no, so we've got the arrow facing up, so you know where to plant it. Also staking it up so it doesn't wobble around. And the
Cool.
biggest no-no, I have people email me, hey, I bought this and 2 weeks later there's no roots. And it's like, how are you telling you're pulling it out of the soil
Oh,
to check for roots?
yeah,
And because there's different varieties, like American Beauty will root in like 2 weeks generally, but we're in Queensland. You might be in Victoria, it might be a little bit different. But Pelora and Sugar Dragon can take 3 months to set roots. So
really.
don't pull it out. Wait till you see the growth underneath and on top. You can
hmm
use rooting hormones as well. Aloe vera is a natural one, or
Yes, good
else
one.
that kind of thing. But okay, so you've got the roots, you've got the growth, it's ready to go onto your post. You want to harden a little bit in the sun.
Yeah, gradually move it out to where
So
it's sort of going to be.
yeah, and pick a day to tie it onto your post or a week where it's nice and overcast.
Yeah, okay.
Don't put it out. And when you're tying it up, tie it up really straight. Don't do it like on an angle
Okay.
because that's like a solar panel and
Mm,
you end up with sunburn. So Mick and I have done that so many times where we just rush and we just want to get it out there. You know, today's the day, you've got time, the weather's completely wrong, and you just regret it.
yeah.
Even Mick did some that had travelled with us from North Queensland in the back of the car, got home, can't wait to get these ginormous cuttings onto a post. All the ones that face that sun thing we were talking about,
Yeah.
completely yellowed off and rusted and sunburnt
Yeah.
and scarred and everything. The one that was hidden around the back that didn't get the sun, perfect.
Oh, wow. Because it
So
had slowly adapted. Yeah.
yeah, and that's another trick. So if you are in that rush, go for the other side of the post. Don't go for the sunny side.
True. You can just, yeah, flick it
Yeah,
around the back.
yeah,
And
yeah, that's
and
it.
is there a certain size that you're looking to then transplant into the thing? Because like presumably like your cuttings are 30 centimeters, right? 20, 30, something
Yeah,
around
20,
there.
30 centimeters. Yeah.
And are you just waiting till they've got roots and then they can go in at 30 centimeters into the ground
Yeah.
most of the time?
So if we do the same variety and we take 20 to 30 centimeter cuttings and put them all in a box,
Yeah.
they're all individual as well. Some will send out branches a meter straight away. Some will wait 3 or 4 months and send out all roots.
True.
It's
Okay.
all yeah, even though they're off the same plant, you think that all have the same growth rate. They've got their own personality once you've taken that cutting. So
It seems to be
yeah,
common across dragon fruit with all of these. Just it just does so many different
does
things.
what they want. Yeah. So
That's really cool. And then how long until you're expecting to see flowers and fruiting? If you've got a somewhat eye level thing. And now
yeah,
I'll preface that by saying I know what you mean. So many
yeah,
different varieties and cuttings are going to be a different speed. But
yeah.
on
So
average, in the ballpark, how long are we expecting before we start to see flowers?
so when we send cuttings in summer, you can sometimes get a flower straight away.
Oh, wow.
So, but it doesn't have the root base to develop the
Mm.
flower further into a fruit. Even if you do get a fruit, it's normally undersized and underdeveloped. But
Yep.
we still can't sometimes leave them on because it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And you're like, yay, we got one straight away. But generally, so for us, it's a year to get to the top of the post
hmm
and then grow over. So it's 3 years for a good crop, 2 years to start getting a few fruit. Does
Wow.
that
And
make sense?
that's,
Did I say
yep.
that in the right order? Or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I know exactly what you mean. And that's at a eye level post height.
post.
So if
Yeah.
you're sending it up a tree, you might be in for a long wait.
Yeah,
Um,
the longer it's got to grow, and if you even want to speed that up, you can do like a raised pot on a fence post or something above the ground.
mm,
Oh, the gabion basket that was at the garden show.
yes, that's
So
right.
it hangs straight over. So it has more potential to get fruit within a year because it's just
Yeah.
got a root develop and it's already hanging over. And it's very space efficient if you're renting that type of thing. You can have a pillar with just your pot on it. You'll have to fertilize it and thin it a bit more, but that's a nice fast way of getting fruit or really large hanging baskets.
Yeah, because the amount of soil obviously might dictate the yield. So if you're
Yeah.
someone that's after just a few of them every year or every season, whatever,
Yeah.
you're gonna get something if you just want to have it in a hanging basket. Because
Yep.
the misconception maybe is that you have to have space to grow up these dragon fruits up
Mm.
trellises and things, but you don't
Yeah.
have to. And I'll point to the vlog from the garden show because I did highlight a couple of the dragon fruit installations you had out there in the kitchen garden,
Yeah.
which are cool. Um,
Yep.
so it show and they were portable, right? So it shows that
Yeah,
you could
we
move them around.
yeah, yeah, they did get a good haircut to come home. I wasn't gonna
True.
baby them too much on the way home. But even it's amazing. Like I cut those back. How long ago was that? 2 months,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
3 months.
yeah,
All the new shoots. Like it's incredible how. I'll send you a photo.
yeah,
They're
cool.
growing a whole new head of hair after cutting them back to nothing.
Wow.
So it's
And that's
great.
like presumably the spring is where you see the majority of their vegetative growth and shooting out
Yeah,
and things like this.
that that's when you know it's those nature signs that weather's changing
hmm
because you'll notice like your dragon fruit don't grow it like a centimeter a week, they're growing a centimeter a day.
Wow, that's quite fast. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was filming earlier this morning that like my cover crops started to bolt some of the brassicas
yeah,
and things, so you can just tell. And then the acacias, the wattles are all flowering, so you know that
yeah.
the season has changed. So yeah, just continuing on from that, you're going to see flowers and fruiting. What's a main fruiting season? Is it the spring, summer for dragon fruits?
Yeah, so we should have fruit sort of around Christmas time. And so you're looking at 60 days prior to that. So obviously everything's different. Some bend the rules a bit, but 30 days from bud to flower, 30
hmm
days from flower to fruit.
Okay,
So
cool.
about 2 months for a fruit to develop.
Wow, and then can we touch on the pollination?
Yeah.
What are some of the techniques that you use and the different ways of pollinating, and what might someone need to do at home to make sure that they're correctly pollinated?
Yeah. Okay. So inside the flowers, you'll have I wish I had a picture to show you. Um, the filament. So where you
Yes.
can see all the yellow stuff, and then you'll have the stigma in the middle. The pollen has to get from the filament onto the stigma. So
Mhm.
with a paintbrush, you can just lightly um, steal some of the pollen
Yeah.
into a Tupperware container or something, and then apply that onto the stigma. The more pollen the flower receives, the better the quality of the fruit as well.
Right.
So
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's yeah, you want to just sort of tap it on. You're not dousing clumps onto it. You got to put yourself in the bee's perspective. If you
Yeah.
think like how they're doing it and things like that. So,
That's true. They're just being very
yeah.
kind of delicate with it, aren't they? You don't want to be coming in and just
Yeah.
beating
They're
it
just
up.
getting little bits falling on there. They're not getting like running up to it and throwing a clump of pollen straight in the middle.
Yeah.
So, and that's where your cross-pollination works. Now, we've got farms where you go to who have lots of highly self-sterile varieties that are hybridized with purple flowers.
Right.
They don't hand pollinate a thing.
Okay.
The bees do it for them because they have a mass of flowers opening each night. So there always is that potential, if you're
Mm,
doing your four different varieties on one post, that they will eventually do it. A lot of people are scared of self-sterile varieties
yeah.
because they don't want to do any pollination. But if you've been growing something for 3 years and you've been watching these buds develop for the last 30 days, are you really not going to be out there staring at it anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically,
Yeah.
you're going to be hovering around that like the bee waiting for pollen. So, and I mean, if you're putting four different varieties on it, make one self-sterile because the flavor of some of those hybridized varieties that are self-sterile trump any of the others. So,
Mm. So it's
yeah.
worth it in the end if you can,
Yeah.
yeah, really do that. And presumably with how many trees do you have on your property?
150 plus of, I think I've collected about 10 in the last few weeks.
So pollinating time is busy for you and it lasts a long time, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It's not just like 1 week where everything pops out at once. It kind of is gradual, as you said earlier. You can kind of have some
No.
that go throughout the year.
Like,
Is that right?
so in terms of routine of a dragon fruit farmer, so I'll go through that because that'll explain everything if
Yeah,
you want.
please. Yeah,
Um,
please.
so we're just coming out of winter, so we have a break. We go for a holiday
Nice.
and we mulch a heap. So we don't poison our rows with anything. We hand weed all the grass out
Cool.
and mulch, and
Yep.
then replant companion plants, getting ready for creating the bee flight paths because of those flowers only opening for one night. We want the
Yeah.
bees to already be going down there.
That's really
So
clever. It's
yeah, so we use a lot of tulsi, basil. Sun hemp is one of my favorites. Pigeon pea. Um, Basically whatever I can plant, or even if it's on like the specials tray at Bunnings, I'll buy it. Nasturtiums, just as much diversity. Cornflowers, I think we've got at the moment that are flowering. Yeah, just everything.
well done.
And then, so right now we're noticing that rapid growth.
Hmm.
So to us, it's like, okay, feed me time.
Yeah.
So, and then also in that feed me time, with that mulch we've put down, we're inoculating it. So our mulch is from the tip. So then we're inoculating it with all these homebrew mixes, little bit of red soil organics, a little bit of
Nice.
honey when I've washed up out our beekeeping gear,
And rock dust,
yogurt.
which you just got a whole
Yes.
bunch of recently.
Yes, that's our new one is that's our new trial is rock dust because okay, so this is going to go off topic again.
No, no, go for it.
But so we had a problem with our chickens free ranging digging up all of our fruit trees. The best part is where you've put all that mulch and all the worms and good stuff is. So I found some basalt rocks beside the road and I
Yeah.
brought them home to put around the bottom of the fruit trees. And something just happened to those fruit trees. They just took off. And then in turn with that, I was watching Landline and there was an episode on Bundaberg farmers using rock dust as well because it's full of calcium and
Mm-hmm.
all trace elements and things like that. Then we went to North Queensland and a tropical fruit farm was using it as well, and he gave us a bag to bring back. Now we've thrown that on our lime tree, and oh my God, you cannot see the leaves almost for the amount of flowers there is.
Whoa.
So it's just incredible what we've noticed happen with our normal routine, but throwing that rock dust in on top.
Well,
Um,
it's just especially for fruit because obviously rock dust is a massive form of phosphorus. So if you're bringing
yeah.
in phosphorus that's amazing for flowering and fruiting, then you're going to have such a benefit to the result. And then depending on where you get it from, you can have the paramagnetism in there as
Yeah.
well, which is such another, well, it's a whole nother topic, but it's such
Yeah.
another
But
added
that,
boost.
yeah. And just
Yeah.
that conversion, like you need the calcium to uptake the nitrogen. So it's just getting as much naturally from our environment that we can and
Mm,
using that. So all right, so we've yeah, invigorated our tip mulch now. And
yeah.
so yeah, rock dust. And then where next step is to do our potassium.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
potash.
Yeah.
So um we just use a small handheld pump. We're in control. There's not as much overspray.
Hmm.
And to stimulate flowering
Yeah.
and budding.
Well,
So
that's another big part of it, isn't it? The potassium,
yeah.
phosphorus for those fruits and flowers, because that does really dictate the size of the fruit and the viability of
Sweetness.
sweetness. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. All of it.
There's
So
commercial farms that will throw spray potassium the day before they pick, which is not the best for our consumption. And
no.
obviously, being commercial farms, it's um, not. Oh, so dragon fruit aren't regulated commercially with what you spray on them. They're just going through the testing now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so there's farms that do things like that to get more money for their fruit because they're slightly sweeter, but it's not necessarily in the best consumable way for us.
No. Okay.
The more
Yes.
you dive into the commercial world of agriculture, the more you want to grow your own stuff at home. I think it's
Uh,
highlighting with
yeah.
bananas and even your own dragon fruit. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Absolutely.
there are some great farms that do amazing stuff. Like do their tillage radish down their rows and
Cool.
mulch things back in. So yeah, we'll talk off air if you do want to get good fruit, where to get it from and where to
Okay.
avoid.
Yeah. Well, from definitely from you guys at least.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
so then you've just fed everything and you're going on
Yep.
holiday. What are you expecting? When's the next bout of work that you're due to do after that?
Oh, we won't go on holiday after the garden shows. We're
Yeah.
back in full swing of anything. We just take the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Kids
Okay.
get 3 week school holidays. We head up North Queensland. And
Nice.
when I say holiday, it's like our holidays always involve a lot of visiting other farms.
Yeah. So
I
it's like
have like
a
this,
tour.
yeah. Yeah, but it's really awesome. Like yeah, just collect all different seeds and jackfruit seed. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's what our job is, our passion.
Hmm.
And that's what makes it cool because we wake up excited to go spread rock dust each morning.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's beautiful, and it's a family thing for you guys. I noticed
Yeah.
when you guys rocked up to the show, and you just, the kids are involved, and everyone's getting everything out and setting it all up, and your
Yeah.
girls are involved, and I love seeing families doing stuff together and getting everyone
Yeah.
involved. And I know like it's always difficult to encourage the kids to do what the parents, are doing and get them involved, but. What's that been like for you guys doing it as a family and getting stuck in, and how much of your lives revolve around this as a family?
A lot of it, not all of it, the kids enjoy.
Yeah,
Like
of
you
course.
probably saw their best working ethics at the plus the bribery was it's like I will pay you like an adult if you work like an adult.
Well, that's
So
great. Yeah.
they earn really good money when they were there.
Yeah, that's great though.
But why shouldn't you?
Mm,
At the same time, like when they were telling us what to do in the end,
yeah.
they're not as hands-on the farm. Like
Well, the
it's because it's
kids.
repetitive and boring,
Yeah.
um, but the best thing is like if our kids are sick, they're at work with us.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's
And
there's no yeah, even if they're having a bad mood day or yourself, you just can't face that job today.
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And we're there for them. We're there at pickup. We drop them off at school. We go to work, and then we come home. The other thing is a farm is separate to where we live.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So it's 3.7 acres where the farm is, and we live on 5 acres.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll drop the kids off at school and go to that dragon fruit farm and do our jobs until about lunchtime. Then we'll go home, have a rest,
Yeah.
whatever, and eat lunch. Then pick the kids up at 2:40 and then come home and work at home.
Okay. Yeah,
Because here we've got more of the tropical fruit we'll want to keep if we ever sold the other property.
I see.
Like we've got heaps of jackfruit, mammy sapotes. We're putting
Yeah,
in
yeah.
about 150 different dragon fruit posts of our favorites and
Wicked.
just, yeah, forward planning for retirement one day
I love it.
at the same time. But
Yeah,
or passing something on to the kids. So,
that's it. And they're seeing
yeah.
you, they're having that exposure of seeing you work on something and cultivate land and
Yeah.
being around home and sharing that with them. And whether or not they take that and run with it, it doesn't really
Oh,
matter. You're setting them up for it with just by setting the example, aren't you?
but if even if our kids gave you a tour of our garden, like
They'd
even when
probably
they
do
used
an
to walk around
amazing
this,
job.
yeah, even when they used to walk around the school ground pulling out lavender and chewing on it and eating stuff, and people like, you can't eat that, and they're like, yeah, mum and dad said we could. But the biggest highlight from the garden show, it was seeing how they worked. But so we got home, we're exhausted, like it's a 4 hour drive, we've packed up,
Hmm.
sick of talking to people for 4 days, that kind of thing. The kids had been going around and collecting all the coffee cups out of the bins and getting you know how if you at the garden expo, if you got a coffee cup, you could get a plant in it.
Yes.
So they came home with a tray of all these different pansies in particular and parsley.
Yeah.
So they came home within 5 minutes. They were mulching their own gardens
Wow.
and planting, and they kept going out and watering and things. Like for me,
That's
that was a
amazing.
highlight. It's like, okay, we've gone and done this, and that's what they are choosing to do now. They're not locking themselves in their room. They're they're building what Tom's garden was in their
Yeah.
own little patches.
It's so beautiful.
So
That must be, yeah, that
yeah,
must feel really fulfilling for you to see that, to see them make
oh
that choice on their own, like so many kids are
yeah,
just wanting to go and slam the door and get the iPad or something and just like
yeah. And
tune out.
instead, my 14-year-old's biggest problem is she's like, oh my God, Mum, I haven't watered my pansies in like 4 days. Like, that's a cool problem to have, not like I can't connect my device. Why can't I? Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it really
So,
is. It really is. Well, that's a testament to you and the way that you guys are. And I know, both yourself and Michael are such wonderful people. Um, Can you tell me a bit about what you see in the future, I guess, now for what you're thinking about top of mind
yeah.
for Rare Dragon Fruit moving forward?
Oh, that's a hard one because there's so many little secrets I've got.
Yes. Well, what are you willing to share with us and give us a little sneak peek?
Um, we want to get our fruit out there more for tastings and things. So that's one big thing this next year we'll be working on. Like we're going to come down to Yandina markets one time and do a tasting
Awesome.
because all the garden shows are in winter, so we never have fruit.
Mm.
Um, we've got workshops coming up at Northley Street Garden
Do
where
you?
there'll be
Cool.
tastings in summer. We did one last year too. And then Yandina Permaculture Garden, we'll do some more there.
Yep.
But I want to get some chefs into it
Ooh, cool.
because yeah, I really want to get some development of some really good recipes because I make
Yeah.
lots of things with them, but I'm no chef. Like if I bake a cake, the kids will eat it warm, but they won't eat it after that. I don't know why, but maybe it's the chef.
Right.
Um, I can cook good meals, like, but not bake or yeah, where if I want to give some of these ingredients and given all the different flavors, like the lychee flavors and things like that, just
Yeah, I imagine
making them
the
stand out.
desserts would just be so crazy cool with all the different versions that you can have with those flavors
The
and
Spirit House on the Sunny Coast did the best. I was down there for a Dragon Fruit Australia meeting and I was like, what restaurant? Because I'm like, somewhere here's got to be fancy enough to have some really good stuff. They had dragon fruit panna cotta and it was
oh,
insane.
oh
I
yeah.
so I was driving back from the meeting. I had like 2 hours to kill, but I'm like, I have to try the dragon fruit. I think it was a margarita and the panna cotta. So they don't open till 12. I'm like sitting in the car park, answering emails, doing what I've got to do. But I'm like, I really just want to drive home, but I need to have this and try this. So the doors opened, and I'm the first person in there and dressed like a farmer, not someone going out for a fancy lunch. And I'm just like, can I please have the cocktail? and the dragon fruit
And the
panna
red.
cotta, and it was all awesome. But I
You
want to
want to
see
try
more of
them.
that.
Yeah, seeing what you can do with these ingredients when you're given, a good quality ingredient and then somebody
Yeah,
with a creative outlook on how to turn it into something
yeah,
delicious can use it.
that's
Uh,
it.
Yeah.
And also just getting on board with more farms. I've got a few more farms getting ready to start planting
Yeah, okay.
locally. So getting a bit of a co-op going and bringing a bit of Agnes food to your areas
Yeah, that's
where
right.
it's nutrient dense, grown amazingly. Yeah, just good quality. Yeah, good quality, fresh and picked ripe. Because that's what we haven't talked about.
Okay.
Dragon fruit don't ripen once they're picked.
Ah, very good point to mention. So you need to be
Yeah,
picking it ripe.
y- yeah, so that's where you're going, walking to Coles, you're picking up one of those nice dragon fruit that look quite attractive with a Vietnamese sticker on it, and it's been picked too early,
Yeah.
and it's traveled about 40 days to get to us. So it's going to taste like cactus water, plain boring. We pick our fruit. It's actually really hard to know because there are too many varieties that we've got.
Yeah, okay.
Because some won't blush completely red. They might stay pink with green fins. And then some
Yeah.
will have bright red fins and things like that. So you've got your 30-day count. You can sort of mix good at doing this.
Okay.
So, um, and then you've got your squeeze test where it feels soft like an avocado, but still,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
I know what
it's
you mean.
firm and yeah, but it's got that give. And then the wiggle test
The wiggle test.
where, yeah, so it's not, the fruit's not firm, like I'm not going to move on the plant
Oh,
itself.
right.
It wiggles a bit like, oh yeah, I'm a bit more relaxed now. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm nearly ready
Yeah,
to drop off. And
yeah, yeah. That's it.
like if it does drop naturally, is that probably, most around the optimum time to eat it? Like, or is that gone
So
too far?
So they naturally probably don't drop. It's
Ah,
such a hard stem holding them on, they split.
yeah, okay. So that is hard to
So
know then.
that, yeah, so, but in saying that, when they split, that's actually my favorite time to eat them. You'd never
Okay.
walk into a shop and buy like a split fruit, but if it's split, it's ready. If you think of a plant's natural ability to reproduce, it's splitting open to say, hey, birds, come and eat my seeds and spread my
And spread them
genetics.
exactly right. So it's
So
offering it up.
that's yeah, yeah. And especially when I don't know, this is off topic again. I've been talking to a lot of people who are looking at autism and that type of thing and our consumption of underripe fruit being a
Really?
linkage. Because if you
Mm.
give a bat won't come to or think of animals, they will eat your ripe tomatoes. A crow will come in and eat your ripe tomatoes. It won't eat your green ones.
No, they won't.
And then we've adapted to eating a lot more unripe.
Not to mention
Yeah.
unripe and sprayed with chemicals like glyphosate and
Yeah.
all of these things. So you're right.
That's it.
That's an interesting one to be looking into. I think all of these
Yeah,
things
yeah.
should be
Do
looked
just
into.
yeah. Just I don't know. I just like observing
That's
and
it.
listening to these things, and then it just I think anything that sways you to grow your own is good as
Well,
well. Like
yeah.
it puts everything into perspective because it's too easy to just go and get things.
Yeah.
It's too easy, like to go buy that dragon fruit, to go buy that banana, where it's so much more rewarding and better for you to source or share and create those communities where you can share that produce as well.
It's
So,
the care that's taken into that fruit growing and sharing and the community, and then the
yeah,
meaning, the significance of growing something, the perseverance, all of this comes into it.
benefit to
It's
the environment straight away. You're not having runoff and things like that. Transport costs of food.
food miles. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just there. It's just 5 steps away from your back door, and you're picking parsley or dragon fruit or yeah, it's easy.
And that's how it should be, shouldn't
Yeah, yeah, grazing.
it? Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us in that conversation again. Yana and I could have talked for ages on dragon fruits and all the things surrounding it. We do share similar passions in the way that we want to nurture our land and share things, and that's a common thread that runs through this podcast. I want to bring people on here that are sharing that passion and helping us to understand from so many different perspectives how we can nurture and care for our land. And these guys are no different, cultivating so many different varieties, as you heard about, of dragon fruit, the weird and wonderful plant that is dragon fruit. So I'm very grateful to those guys. As always, check out the links. They'll be linked in the description. You can go and follow what they're doing, get yourselves a cutting, and then maybe jump into one of their workshops or speaking events or garden shows, which we didn't touch on too much, but they're all over the place. So I really encourage you to go and follow along on their journey as well. Lastly, from me, please, a review is always helpful and I'm super grateful. And then if you're not subscribed to the show, that is definitely the one thing that you can do to help me out. It is so easy for you to do. All you have to do is hit that button once and we are connected forever. So it helps me, helps people find this show, and we can get more people growing wonderful things like dragon fruit. So thank you. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And as always, I will see you again next week on the very next episode. Take care and bye for now.